All right, so for someone who's never attended the Indy 500, how would you explain this in one sentence?
One sentence? Oh my God, this is a lot of pressure. I mean, it's undescribable. I will say I would describe it as like the greatest spectacle in racing. Very cliche, I know.
The Indy 500 is the biggest race on the planet. That's it. It's the biggest race on the planet. It's unlike any other race that there is, to be honest.
Ooh. That's a good question. It's an adrenaline-packed, full-speed, crazy experience like that you can't describe unless you've actually been here.
The greatest party in the world, and something that you probably can't even begin to comprehend until you see it.
I don't know. It's hard to put into words. I mean, the actual race itself is it's intense, and more in the last 5 years, it's been crazy at the end of these races with the red flag. So it'll be intense.
It's the biggest sporting event in the world, and it's just unique.
I mean, the catchphrase is the greatest spectacle in racing, and I really do believe that, because you're talking about 300,000 live and attendance fans here to watch drivers, 33 of them, go 240 miles an hour. It's one of the most amazing things in the world. I think, my analogy is that we used to go off to war, and that's not to say we still don't, but we now have our local troops in race cars and in sports teams, so this is our battlefield, and this is our competition to really show what we got, show the bravery, show the courage, and it really is all of that, because as a driver, it's impressive.
A lot of people, a lot of beer.
Probably a 240 mile per hour circus. It's crazy. A lot of different things happening, but the coolest thing is in person getting to see cars going that fast.
I can't. And you know why I can't? Because I've never even done one. I've never been to one either. So, yeah, I cannot. And I'm going through everything for the first time, which is absolutely wild. I mean, it's so cool. Like, it's so cool. But I don't even know what Sunday feels like yet. So maybe you need to ask me that, like, after Sunday.
I would say you need to come do it for yourself. It's so hard to describe what it's like on race day. It really is one of those things that you just got to see it to believe it.
It's like the Disney World to a kid. It's special, but people don't realize that the day of the race you have over 300,000 people, and the energy, it's absolutely, it's incredible. So for me to describe is difficult. The TV does not do justice. Just watch from TV, and you gotta come and feel that vibe, because it's incredible.
Who's your GOAT driver and why?
I would say the greatest of all time, I would have to say, I got to go with Ayrton Senna. He never did the Indy 500, but he's won 3 Formula One World Championships, and he's just a driver that inspired me to start racing.
Oh, I think probably Scott Dixon. Yeah, Ayrton Senna, obviously in like the F1 world, but if we're talking IndyCar only, definitely Scott.
Ooh, great question. Probably Rick Mears, because Rick Mears pretty dominant here, and also a legend and still a cool guy. So Rick Mears is probably in that conversation, but boy, is that a debate.
In this field, I would have to go Scott Dixon as far as a racer. He just knows how to execute on all levels, and then qualifier willpower.
Scott Dixon, because I had the privilege to be teammates with him for a few years, and just everything he's done, winning on all different kind of tracks, so many championships, and the way he is as a person, he's a role model both on and off track.
Well, I'm wearing the right name right now, AJ Foyt Racing. AJ Foyt is synonymous with winning, being the winningest driver in history, so I'd name him as my GOAT.
Michael Schumacher. When I grew up, he was just a man. He was winning everything, and it's hard to say someone else, to be honest. Yeah.
Here at the Speedway, probably Rick Mears. He's won the race 4 times. A few other guys have done that, but I think he's probably one of the coolest IndyCar drivers ever.
My GOAT driver's got to be the one, the only, Mr. Elio Castroneves. He's also my teammate, and technically he's like kind of my boss because he's a small shareholder in the team. So I grew up like watching him win when I was super young, and he's still going about it, right? Which I think is a testament to his like success and what he's achieved around here, which is pretty cool. So like he's won this thing 4 times. He's finished second like a load of times as well. And he's made a lot of money doing it. So
AJ Foyt, he's first 4-time winner and just always been one of my heroes.
Well, I'm gonna go with my hero. Back when I was young and a go-kart driver, I was Ayrton Senna. The reason is he was able to show a lot of adversity. He obviously was an incredible talent, and even back in Brazil in mornings, he wins. Will inspire me to become who I am today in my own way, obviously. But for sure, he was an inspiration for my generation.
Myself, obviously. But because I was always a big Felix fan, Rosenqvist fan when I grew up. I almost idolized him a little bit, so that would be my go-to guy if I wouldn't pick myself.
Oh, I like that. All right, last one for you. How do you maintain focus when you're out there on that track for every second?
I think it's a training thing. We spend our entire careers training to have that focus, and so we start in the lower formula and we have that focus for 20 minutes and we have it at a lot lower speed, and then we work up, and then we do longer races and faster races, and then you kind of build up to it. It's not like we expect somebody off the street to go and do 3 hours in an IndyCar at 230 miles an hour. So you train for it just like anything else.
I think when you've done it for so long, I've been lucky. I mean, this is my 11th 500 now, so it's something that you just kind of becomes part of your soul, becomes part of your body. But you work on this your whole life. I mean, I've been doing this since I was 10. So you start in go-karts, you start working on small things there. You move into slightly slower cars, then maybe a little bit faster, and so you kind of become in tune with it. But it's still a challenge every time you get in the car. There's so much you have to do, so much more than people can even comprehend, because I can't tell people to go out and do what we do. I can go outside tomorrow and throw a football and know that I'm not going to play in the NFL. So for our sport, it's a little bit different, and really people can't comprehend it unless they believe what we're telling them.
How do you do it? You have to, because it's so fast, and the car just keeps you locked in there, because you can't wander for a second, otherwise it'll be a big scare.
That's a tough challenge, That's this race is a mental challenge. It's about being in 220, 230 miles an hour for hours and hours, and because of the speeds, you can't lose focus for a split second. You need to stay laser sharp for all those laps that we do. So the mental stress this race creates is quite unique.
A lot of preparation. A lot of what we do here is not just feel like it is the right thing at the right time. It's a lot of anticipation and understanding what's happening in the car, understanding what's happening in the race, and the strategy that's played out over the course of the 3.5-hour event like this. It's not just something that is random. It's something that's been thought out, well processed. We understand when the yellow flags come out, what we need to do. As a driver, to stay focused through all of that, there's a lot of workouts that we have to do to be physically prepared, but also that we're at a level where the car is almost easy to drive, so that we're not fatiguing mentally because of the physical fatigue.
It's definitely, like, you can feel towards the last hour or so that sometimes you zone out a little bit, and you're dehydrated, it's hot, you've been very focused for a long time, and I think it's something I learned the hard way. I had a slip up here last year in the end of the race where I just felt like I lost it a little bit, and it's definitely something I'm working hard on, like with fitness and just kind of, mental training, and, how to like reload when you really need it. Because, in the end of the day, you only really need to lead one lap, and it's the last one to win the race. So.
I think once you've done it enough times, it's easy. Saying that it is easy to get worked up and mad inside the car, but just knowing what the objective is, kind of setting goals for each set of laps, and understanding, and most importantly, just being realistic. If it's not your day, it's not your day. Try to do the best you can with what you're given, and just maximize everything that you can, no mistakes.
Has he given you any advice about how to race this, how mentally prepared you need to be?
Yeah, he's given me a ton of advice. So I've been very fortunate to have him there. Not only that, I also have Felix Rosenquist, who's been super competitive here the last few years, and let's say a later like in my generation of racer, of driver. So he, it's easier to relate to him. Elio goes about it in his way, which he's done for so many years. So but it's also really good to see, right? It's interesting to see someone like Elio, who's done it for so long and achieved so much, and how he goes about it. And, that gives me confidence to go about it in my way as well, because, he's doing nothing different to like what a rookie potentially would do. Even though he's done it so many times, he's also going through the same processes that we go through. So I think that's pretty cool, and that gives me a lot of confidence.
We've talked to a few drivers today, and they said you are their GOAT driver of all.
Wow. Now, that was the first question that I did. You throw a curveball on me right now. Well, I'm glad. I am happy. Yes, I feel blessed and honored, first of all, to be part of this amazing elite group, which is, I call the legends of the gods of racing, which is AJ Foy, Rick Mears, and Al Unser. So would it be amazing to do something that nobody ever did?
It's what we're trained to do. It requires your full focus, so I don't find it that hard to stay focused. I think the harder parts are managing your emotions, like within the race, when someone does something that you don't like, or you have something go wrong with you, whether it's a yellow flag fall in the wrong spot or a bad pit stop. I think that's the harder thing when you're a younger driver, is just staying calm and not allowing that to hurt your focus.
Well, it is hard and it's not, because you're doing the thing that you've trained your whole life to do, so we're kind of accustomed to it. The problem is that when it's a long race like this one, when it's 3 hours long and you can't break focus for even a couple of seconds, it gets tough. So you have to practice and prepare for it, but also at the same time, like when you're doing 220, 30 miles an hour, you're hyper focused on whatever it is you're doing, usually focused on the car ahead or the car behind, trying to pass or trying not to get past. So those 3 hours, they usually go by pretty fast, I hear.
Honestly, it comes naturally through the adrenaline. You know that if you make a mistake, you're going to hit the wall at 240 miles an hour. So I think that gives you that energy to really focus and not make a mistake. And at the end of the day, we've been doing this for so long. I started racing when I was 4 years old. So I've been doing it for over 20 years. And it's just, it's part of the game. You gotta hit your marks, execute, and go for the win.
Serious question for you. This is my favorite one. What's the fastest speeding ticket you've ever gotten? And did you think you could outrun the police? Did that run through your mind?
I am not a drive fast on the roads guy. I like getting paid to drive fast and not giving money away when I drive fast. So that's usually probably the better route to go. I haven't had a speeding ticket in 7 years, so I am going to keep that streak alive for now.
Smart man.
I could definitely outrun the police. I would never attempt to. I don't know if I could outrun a helicopter, though, so that wouldn't be fun. But I was like, man, my rookie year, I had my mom in the car, and I just left this rookie banquet here, and I had like 6 trophies on the back, and he pulled me over for like 122, trying to get to the airplane, and he was very, very mad until he knew who I was, and then he wanted a picture, so it worked out good.
Your poor mom.
Yeah. I definitely could outrun the police if I wanted to, but I wouldn't do that. I've got only a couple of tickets, to be fair. Like when I drive on the road, I drive like a grandma. I don't need to drive fast on the road. I leave that for the track.
My joke is that I haven't gotten a speeding ticket because they've never caught me. But I have not gotten any speeding tickets.
The craziest speeding tickets. I have to say I haven't had like one crazy one, but I had a lot of small ones. I had, when I was racing in Germany back in the day for a manufacturer, the company car was like, the registration was linked to them, so they got all the tickets in Germany because they had the cameras, and I had like 100 of them because I thought I never received them home because I lived in Sweden, and I was like, they probably don't care. At some point they called me from the office. They're like, we have like 100 tickets here. So yeah, that was a big mess.
Were you like, sorry guys?
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't say anything else. I'm like, sorry, I didn't think they counted.
I've only had one speeding ticket, and I think it was like, I don't know, maybe like 80 and a 65 on the freeway. So, do I think I could outrun the cops? It depends what car I have, but definitely, yeah.
So what's your like normal day-to-day car?
Acura MDX, which is probably a little too big to outrun the cops. But if you give me an IndyCar, I mean, you're outrunning everything. Even if they bring helicopters, you're outrunning it.
I've never tried to outrun the police. As much as I probably, this one I might be in trouble for. I've been a good guy. I did get pulled over actually for doing, it was pretty bad, 83 or 82 in a 45. Yeah, that hurt. But the police officer was very nice, but I won't be doing that again.
It's in the past. It's in the past. Or what is the fastest speeding ticket you've ever gotten?
Don't go there. Oh wow, here we go. Let's say the 3 digits. I unfortunately was on that one.
You're a bad boy.
I'm a bad boy. Yes.
I've never thought about running the police. That only happens in the movies, I think. I think it was like 109. I got pulled over in southern Indiana. Yeah.
I would never speed or outrun the police. I've never actually gotten a speeding ticket. I've been pulled over a couple of times here, but with because I have an international driver's license, and sometimes I think police, it's like a little bit too much effort to put that in the system. So I've gotten away with it every single time. So luckily, I'm gonna, try to stay that way.
Knock on wood.
I never got a speeding ticket. I know. I've been very safe. It's keeping my insurance costs down and stuff. So you got to think that you get your first ticket, the insurance goes like double. So never got a speeding ticket before, luckily.
I think I could, but I'm never going to try. And of course, I've never got speeding tickets. I'm a good girl.
Oh, I like that.